everyone. I'm Selena Hill, and welcome to another episode of The New Norm on Black Enterprise, where I spotlight dynamic leaders who are making change in their communities and the world at large. Today, I have the privilege to speak with Harvey Mason Jr., an accomplished music producer, songwriter, and film producer who has penned and produced songs for the likes of Aretha Franklin, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Elton John, and Beyonce. Harvey currently serves as the CEO of the Recording Academy, which is the organization that produces the annual Grammy Awards. Harvey, thank you so much for being here with us at Black Enterprise today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor and privilege to talk to you.
Absolutely. So, you've had a stellar career in music, and now you're leading the biggest organization in the music industry. But before we talk about you, I want to start with the Recording Academy's new big announcement about their Dream Initiative. Can you tell us about that and its significance?
Well, yeah, thank you for asking about it. It's something we're really proud of. The Dream Initiative, it's diversity reimagined by engaging all music makers. We're trying to find the right way to say all that in one nice, clean word, but it's really led by the DEI team. It highlights the cultural contributions and it really establishes member resource groups. And they're focusing on 8 priority demographics. It's the Black Music Collectives, Women in the Mix, it's Grammy's Next Gen, it's the Academy Proud, it's the LGBTQIA inclusion group, the Gold Music Alliance rather, Pan Asian members, I'm trying to remember all of them, the Latino group, Indigenous People Network, Disability and Accessibility Network. I might be leaving one out, but the point of it is to make sure that we're listening, we're learning, we're interacting with different groups, and we're listening. We're hearing from some people that didn't always have their voice heard, whether that be by us and our academy or just in general. And we're trying to do a better job. We're working to do a better job to make sure we're listening, we're understanding, we're getting feedback, and we're representing them and we're honoring them through our work at the Grammys and the way we reflect and honor music. So it's a goal of ours, this initiative we're very proud of. One thing we've been doing through that is hosting listening sessions. So we invite each group to sit with us and to sit with the members of the leadership team and the staff at the Academy and tell us everything. Tell us the good, tell us the bad, tell us the things we could be doing better, tell us the things we're missing. We don't know everything about every different group of people in every genre of music. So we need input. We need these groups to, pull our coattails a little bit when there's things that we need to pay attention to. So it's been really helpful as a resource, and we're really pleased and proud of where we're going with that. A lot more work to do there, though.
Harvey, I want to talk about why that is so important to you personally and for the academy. You talked about listening to underrepresented groups, making sure that they're heard. Why are you guys being so intentional about that?
Well, because we know music is made by all different types of people and it's consumed by different types of people. And if we're just paying attention to one group and we're not serving or hearing from the others, then it seems very short-sighted and very surface and shallow. So for us, we want to make sure we're including all the different groups of people, and we know the importance of a well-rounded experience, whether that be in music or just in society. So listening, learning, and understanding from others is a big part of what we like to do at the Academy, and it's our hope that we can continue to hope that culture, spreads through not just our industry, but around our country, around the world. We have enough people feeling left out. We have enough people in groups feeling like they're scratching to get heard, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It's not how it's supposed to be in anything, but specifically around music. There's great music being made by different races, different genders, people with different beliefs, people from different countries. And these are times where, and maybe I don't want to sound over important because we're absolutely a small piece of the puzzle, but this is a time when the Academy can use the power of music and the platform of the Grammys to do good and to move the needle and to bring people together. And that involves all people. It doesn't matter where you're from, what you look like, what you believe. We got to get this stuff right. We're all sharing this human experience, and a lot of times we've been separated and divided long enough.
a lot of folks would say, and I love the initiatives and all the work that the Academy has been doing, particularly in the last few years. A lot of the groups didn't always feel, heard or represented, especially, by larger institutions like the Academy. What type of effect do you hope that the Dream Initiative and all the DEI efforts that you guys are doing will have on the music industry at large?
We hope it promotes greater diversity in the music industry. We want to make sure we amplify the presence of all these different communities and really create a space, a safe space for expression. After all, that's what we do. We serve music, we serve the music community. So our structure and our culture has undergone a really substantial change. And I hope and I would anticipate that the impact we have may sets a tone or affects the broader entertainment industry.
Harvey, I've had the chance to, work with the Academy these past few years, even to go to the Grammys, and I've
Thank
been
you.
seeing
Thank you.
so
Yeah.
many of the changes that you guys are leading. You have a great senior leadership team, and it's trickling down. What effects do you hope? How do you hope that these effects resonate? With, let's say that independent artist who may be indigenous or may have a different identity. How are you hoping that they feel and connect with these changes?
I would hope they feel included. I would hope they feel they have found their people, their safe space. The music community is growing, it's evolving, it's changing, and uh, I like to think that we are open and accepting of all people, but specifically all people who make music, love music, consume music. So that would be my hope that we can all come together, we can have these shared experiences, we can continue to collaborate and support each other, continue to celebrate and lift each other up because that is the time. And we are facing a moment when there are so many cynical politicians and others that are trying to turn people against each other. They're
Yeah.
trying to turn people and run fear and change the narrative to a fear narrative. And there's many companies and organizations that are backing away from bringing people together and their commitments to try and make change. But the Academy, we're trying to go the other direction. We're trying to continue to unify, to continue to listen, to continue to pay attention to all the different people, all the different groups, and make sure that we are understanding all their perspectives and we know the value and the power that having diversity around the table and what those outcomes can be. So that's the culture we're trying to build where everyone's welcome, everyone's included, and has a hand and a participation in the decisions and the creativity and the collaboration.
Yeah, we here at Black Enterprise, we reported on the Women in the Mix study that you guys did, the HBCU tour that you guys have been doing. We also even did a sit down in person interview with Rico Love, who leads the Black Music Collective. So you
Yeah,
guys
love
have
Rico Love.
oh, absolutely. Shout out
He's
to
that was
Rico.
a great interview. Great interview, I'm sure. He's sharp. He's so thoughtful. He's been such a champion for music people, not just the Academy, but just music people in general. He's sharing his knowledge. He's sharing his experiences, and great guy, powerful guy.
Absolutely. So you guys definitely have your hands in all the DE&I pots. What is it again? Just to bring it back to the Dream Initiative, what is it that makes this initiative so special? Because you guys are really doing a lot of work all year around.
Well, to me, it's not really about having hands in the DEI pots. It's really about doing what's obvious and what's right. Like, how can a community like ours, the music community, not listen to all the different people that are making music, especially around Black and Brown people? When you look at 34% of all music is Black music, whether it's created and consumed. So we know there is a wide variety of people that are involved in this industry. It's not as much as we would like in some areas, around the executive table or maybe some of the other areas where we feel like we can still make huge improvements. But for us, DEI is just part of the culture of the academy. It's part of what we do every day. Um, Maybe it's because of who I am or what my background is and what my heritage is or what I look like or where I come from. but it's across the organization. This organization has uh, jumped at the chance to evolve, and it's been so willing and so dedicated to making sure DEI is embedded in everything we do. So it's not just having our hands or our toes dipped into the DEI waters. This is really who the academy is and who the academy should be. And it's also what music and our industry should be. It's what the world should be for that matter. But let's start with music. And we've
Mhm.
started at the academy, and I'm pleased, I'm proud of where we are. I don't want to mistake you or your audience to thinking that I believe we've got it all figured out, because we definitely don't. We haven't cracked everything. We still have a ways to go, but I am proud of the progress, and I'm proud of the focus of our staff, our elected leadership, our board, our members, on making sure we're right sizing everything we're doing as it relates to DE&I. So our board makeup has completely changed, whether that be gender parity, whether that be people of color. Our membership, in the last 3 years, we've added 2,500 new women voters. This last class, we had almost 40% people of color in our voting membership class. So these are the efforts that we're undertaking now. Again, lots more work to do, but very proud of progress so far.
Yeah, and speaking of progress, the Grammys did a great job in celebrating hip hop last year for its 50th anniversary. I was there when you guys did that epic tribute to hip hop with LL Cool J, and oh my God, I was
Yeah.
literally going crazy. And then on top of that, I know you guys worked with Kamala Harris, and then you did that hip hop tribute in December, and I thought that was so powerful with Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff on stage together. And we all know in the 90s, they actually did not come to one of the Grammys because they felt like hip hop wasn't being represented, and was being snubbed, and they said, we're not going, even though they were nominated. Can you talk about just, I guess, that dynamic, and sort of like
Yeah.
how it's been to reckon with righting those wrongs?
I have very strong feelings about this, first of all, as if you couldn't tell based on the last year or two and things that we've done and the changes we've made. But I will say it wasn't done intentionally back in the day, and I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going to explain my thoughts as to why some of this might have happened, which doesn't really help us, because the feelings and the results of what happened are real and they're factual. But our winners, our nominees and our winners, are made up by our voters. So you have to understand who our voters were and what types of music they knew, what types of music they probably listened to or what they enjoyed. It's probably very different than the music that people now or our members now are involved in or listen to or are experts in. So the change in membership is really important when you start thinking about who we're honoring, what types of music are getting votes and getting Grammys and showing up on our stages. So it's unfortunate that we didn't always get that right. It's unfortunate that we didn't have the diverse voting body that we probably needed to make sure we're honoring all these different types of music. But that's something that's a challenge. So for us this year, we introduced 3 new categories. We have to make sure that when we introduce new categories, that we have enough voters who understand those categories and are experts in those categories, are working in those genres to be able to evaluate the music. And I'm imagining back when Jay and Will were coming out with great music, the Academy, in its effort to be inclusive and honor all the music that was happening, probably started the category and was like, okay, this is a big time important genre of music, but they didn't have the voters that could understand how to vote for it. So no excuse. I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm trying to just give some context as to how I can imagine that happen. We have lots of work to do with that community, with hip hop and all black music in general. I believe in the last couple of years we've made some good strides. We still need to continue to get more relevant and expert voters in that category and in other categories. So we make sure we're honoring the right music, the music of today, the music that's happening, that's really moving culture. But I believe we're doing a better job. But I'm happy that you enjoyed the hip hop stuff. I know I had a ball. I couldn't stop dancing the whole time. I was in the audience.
Oh yeah, yeah, I was in the audience too. I'm originally from Queens, so that's why I lost it. Speaking of new categories, Afro beats is a new
Yeah.
category this year, and Burner Boy, I believe, will make history. He's set to make history as the first Afrobeats artist to ever perform at a Grammy Awards. Can you talk about how that came about to sort of add Afrobeats as a genre?
Again, adding the new category, Best African Performance, was important because, like everything we do at the Academy, it's driven by our members and by the music community. And the music community says, hey, there's this really important, impactful genre that's happening. We listen, we say, oh my gosh, Afrobeats or Amapiano or other music from the continent that would be considered African performance worthy is happening. It's growing, it's building, it's very popular. So those proposals written by members or people in the music community make their way to our board. Our board says, we totally agree, this is happening, it's big, let's start a new category. So that's how a category happens. As for Burna Boy, he's had such success globally and around the world that it just made sense for us to work with him on the first performance on our show by an Afrobeats artist in the year that we're giving the first African Performance Grammy. So lots to celebrate, lots to jump up and down the aisles about this year on the show, but that'll be one big moment.
Are there any other big moments that you're particularly excited about this year?
Of course, there's like 15 big moments that I'm excited about, but I'm not going to tell you all of them because it's nice to have a little surprise, right? You wouldn't want me to kind of spoil all that, would you?
No, no.
No,
I mean,
no, no.
I'm still. I
No,
mean,
I'll tell you
okay.
honestly, there are some exciting things, and what I'm really excited about is all the diversity in genres. I'm that guy who listens to every type of music, and I'm sure a lot of people that or your listeners do the same thing. Is you're not listening to just one genre of music anymore like we used to when I was young. You had one radio station that played a certain style of music, and those were your people. Now you're listening to different things and all of it's coming together. It's mashing up into new genres and new sounds. Artists are featured on other people's records. There's crossover. So what's exciting about the show for me is that range and that diversity, both from a genre standpoint, but geography standpoint. We talked a little bit about it. Music coming from all different parts of the world, different ages, young, new up and comers, the hottest artists of today, and then the icons, the legends that that have been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years. So that's what I love about this year's show and what you're going to see on our stage.
Oh yeah, one of the biggest highlights for me last year, and the rest of the world was Beyonce making history. I know
Breaking the
you guys,
record.
yeah, yes, most Grammys ever, I think, for a single artist. And you
Yeah.
guys pretty much kept that quiet. That was a huge surprise. I think in the weeks leading in. Anything on that level that we can look forward to or anticipate?
Yes. That's it.
Okay, I don't know how we're gonna top Beyonce making history, but we are gonna be watching and looking forward. Before we talked about just all the work you're doing with the Academy, Harvey. I touched a little bit about your background, which is super, fascinating itself. I wanted to touch on that a little bit. I know that you were named interim CEO in 2020, and then you became permanent in 2021. But prior to that, you were writing and producing music for iconic artists and producing films like the LeBron James film, More Than a Game, and Aretha Franklin's biopic, Respect. What made you want to work on with the Academy and take on this, huge role?
First, I'll say that the Academy was very gracious and they've allowed me to continue writing and producing music and film and TV. So thankful to be able to continue to get my creative output happening, my outlet. But what made me want to work with the Academy is the history of important and impactful work that it's done over the last 65 years. I was a member for a long time. And I first remember signing it because I wanted to vote for myself so I could get nominated and hopefully win a Grammy. So I always would vote for myself. So that's how I became aware of the Academy, was through the awards process. But then as a member, I started seeing the things that they were doing, and that's the music cares and the health and human services for people who need help, whether it's a drug addiction or a medical crisis. the museum around music education preservation, exposing the next generation of kids to music, or our advocacy stuff in DC where they're fighting for the rights of music creators and making sure we can make a fair living and a fair wage. I saw all that as a member. And then there came a time when I realized that the Academy could do more and we could do better. And so I ran for chair, and I ran on a platform of like change and evolution. And now is the time with everything that's happening in our industry to evolve our great Academy. And there were some things about it that maybe some of us didn't think were great at the time. So I ran as chair, I was elected, and then I was asked to be the CEO. So it's been a kind of a interesting route to get to where I am. But the reason that I love it and that I'm passionate about it is because we are truly here to serve music. We hear a lot about the awards. We hear a lot about who's going to get the trophy, who's going to get the nomination. Some people are mad, some people are happy. But at the end of the day, the money that we get from our TV show all comes into the Academy, gets pushed back out into our music community. We're a not-for-profit organization. That money, just during COVID, think about this. During COVID, we gave $37 million to music people, not just our members, but to all music people who needed help. And that continues on still day over day, year over year. Education, as I said, advocacy, helping people who need help. That's why I love the Academy, because I understand, and I hope you do and your viewers, listeners do as well. I know the power of music. We know what music does. We know what it means to people. We know how it hits people, how you can feel it, how you can dislike somebody over there, but when the song comes on, you're both nodding your head and you get some common understanding and hopefully some empathy and some sympathy. And so for me, the power of music is too great to not fight for it and not fight for the people who make it, who create it. So that's what wakes me up every day. That's what drives me to try and serve our community and continue to do the good work that the Academy has done over the last 65 years.
You've done such great work. Like you said, the Academy is 65 years old, but you've only been there for 4 years. Is there something that you're most proud of that has happened within those 4 years?
Over the last 4 years, I'm proud of the evolution we've made, the innovation that we've brought to the Academy, the way we do things, the way we constitute our board, the way we elect our leaders, the way we hire, who we hire, how we have new and varied and more diverse membership, all the programs we've instituted around the different genres and the listening sessions. I'm very proud of from where we've come to where we are. I've always been proud of the work that the Academy did to give back to the community and to the music industry, but now, in my humble opinion, it's kind of gone to a new level because we're trying to serve more people. We're trying to be more aware and cognizant of the fact that it's not just about a subset of music people. It's about everyone, not even just in the US. It's about global creators. It's about women. It's about underserved communities. It's about genres that might not have gotten the attention that they deserved. So I'm proud of where we've gone. And I'm also proud of the willingness of our membership, our board, our chair, and our senior leadership to continue to want to evolve and innovate and iterate. Because a lot of times when you come into a company that's 65 years old, that's been doing something for a long time, there's a stagnant approach to things, or the tendency is to lay back and just continue to do the same thing. So I'm really proud of our group and our members that have agreed and really bought into evolving our organization, evolving the way we serve music people. And we didn't really touch much on it, but technology is changing so quickly. AI is here. There's other things that are going to impact our ability to make art and our ability to get remunerated properly and fairly and continue to own our intellectual property. So these are things that are coming. And our ability as an academy, as a community to adapt and protect ourselves is going to really depend on how quickly we can move, how quickly we can evolve and innovate in everything we do. So very proud of that and looking forward to continuing to do the work.
But before we wrap up, Harvey, I'm glad you mentioned AI, a very big debate going on right now in the music community. What are your thoughts on using AI to create art? Is that something that's acceptable? Is it something that the Academy, will that be a genre or a nomination at any point? Would it be a category at any point, you think?
First, I'll say it is absolutely acceptable because it's happening already. People are using AI, and I've used AI for years and years, whether it's like auto tune or pitch correction or sonic programmed to eliminate noise. There's AI in our tech already. As it relates to AI completely writing entire songs, obviously I hate that. It's something that scares me to death. But I'm also optimistic that creators, always we're always going to push. We're early adopters of technology just inherently and naturally, but we're also resilient. We find ways to create space for ourselves and for our creativity and to get out of our heads what we're feeling, what we're imagining. And you can't replace that. There's no computer, there's no machine, there's no software that's going to emulate or simulate what comes from our hearts and what comes from deep in our souls. So, how AI participates in that or might amplify how we create or what we create to be determined, how we regulate it, because it has to be regulated, it has to be controlled. We've got to make sure we're credited. We have to make sure we have approvals. We have to make sure we're paid properly. So once those things get sorted out, whether that be on a federal level or within our music community, too early to tell, but AI is going to play a part. I love the possibility, but I'm scared about what it could mean for us if it's not handled properly.
Yes. And on that note, Harvey, are there any other words or anything else that you would like to add, either about the Academy or about the Grammys that are coming up that everyone's excited about?
Yes, I will add that I am thrilled to be in this position. I'm humbled to be able to serve music, and I'm extremely excited and proud of the show that's about to be on the air February 4th, Sunday, here in LA, Crypto Center on CBS. I think we have more people excited about music, more people making music, more people consuming music. Fortunately, we have more people taking in our content than ever before, whether it's on a network or on digital or on streaming. And I'm really excited for everyone to come together and rally around music. That's the favorite part about Grammy Week is there's all different people coming from all around the world to celebrate music. Nothing's better than that for me. So very excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Harvey Mason Jr., for the work that you're doing, not just at the Academy, but in the music industry at large and in the world. We appreciate your passion and commitment to making change.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.